Friday the 11th of July. Been away for a few days. I hadn't seen these since Sunday. Stuff's getting away. Apparently we haven't had any rain of any consequence. But luckily the water went in Saturday, Sunday, and the straw's doing its job, so the plants have done well. Water's been on for about an hour or so, and now just running some feed through the pipes at half strength. Just moved on to the balanced feed, which would be the soluble blue. I'll show you in a sec. So the poms are filling out and possibly in need of a tie soon. These we cut back Wednesday last week, which is a Dave's choice, and mostly they're well away. Gonna have to pick some French beans today, maybe even a tomato. So this is the soluble blue universal, which is 18, 11, 18, plus a couple of other bits. I'm using it half strength, so that's 50 scoops or 250 grams. No, it's not that. 100, yeah, about 250 grams into the can, which goes into the feeder, and that's about a half strength. I did just nick through these Sunday morning, which is now Trisha, and although bit very early stage, just took out some extra shoots. These would have only been stopped on the Wednesday last week, but I just hooked out a few, and as you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 shoots left on there, but it would have been probably a dozen, just in the aim to try and get the power into the few. These are ones that were stopped the week before that I've done, and we all make mistakes, including me. I'm very good at them. That one really did object to being hard chopped back. That one didn't object quite so much, but has done, and so is that. So it's probably 3 plants out of the equation, or at least 2 of them, I think. But there is 52, so I'm sure I'll survive. And these are ones that I've thinned out slightly, and I'll probably go through and do it again now. I can actually see some shoots. The giants are doing well. These would have been the ones that I double stopped. Those ones single stopped about 3 weeks ago. This is all bryn turfle, and these ones were the ones I lost my bottle on, and they've got buds in. So they were first stopped first week of June. So it seems to be about 6 weeks to produce buds, start producing buds on the bryns. Same with these, but not all of them have. In theory that makes the later singles about right, and hopefully the others follow on. Not hugely enamoured with the health on some of the Aggie. I don't know, that one's got a bud in it, but I'm not sure that's ever going to produce a decent flower, whereas that one looks fine to me. So I keep on trying to rogue and improve it, and I've had best trying and show more often than not with Aggie White and Louis, but I think the stock health is always a bit of an issue, and as usual the original tends to be the healthiest. This will be the Ruskin Diane, and you can see if you look closer the difference between those stopped the week before and those stopped last week. They've got some decent shoots on them, plenty of green. Those have only got 1 pair of leaves, if that, coming on, which is fine. That's the whole point of staggering the stops. Again, last week, week before, last week, week before, and last week and week before. So there's not messes in there, but there will be enough to spread them slightly. The Bellberry Surprise. I always seem to stammer on the name. And the softer gleams are doing okay. This is the second surprise again that was stopped last week. They've had a spray this morning. The water's been on. They're now getting a half dose feed. You can just see the feed's about there now. So it moves down the can. And that's a half dose. You can see it's, well, I can see it's mildly blue, which is just a lightweight, but it's going to get probably equivalent of about 5,500 litres of lightweight onto these beds. That's why I didn't want to blow the brains out. The poms and the miniatures are getting that. This is the Marys. The plants were so strong that I think when I stopped them, just the stronger breaks went away. Well, I grow this about 16 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's only about 12 there. But there is ones coming from further down. Down in the plant, if you can see. And hopefully those will come up and replace. I tend never to strip down anything off of mirrors unless I think I've got a real hedge, and mostly I think they're gonna have enough. There's another one, big plant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then I say there is bits in there, so a plant like that will probably just get tied and knocked back as the buds come, because they will come on the plant like that before I want them, and then just before securing buds, I'll go through and just have another recount, and if it's 16 thereabouts and a bit of old fluff around the bottom, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and stuff. So they'll be there. It's just, I think it's hard to get 16 shoots all even away from a second stop. Almost need 3 stops to do that and then strip down, but that's how I grow it, how I carry on growing it. And the Abercorn Sunrise, last week's stop, so I'll get into those because I don't think it's that big weed. And ones that were done last week, I think I'll probably grow that about 9 up, possibly even 8, but 9 up just to see what it does. So stuff's generally looking good, and considering I've not been here for 4 days and it's been hot, it's another hot one today, another I think 27, 28 degrees. Still a bit cooler than Valencia. Them and these are slightly burnt. That's my fault, not Valencia's. See you later. Wednesday morning, the 16th of July. I don't think I did an after on Friday last week, so we're only 5 days later. But I've got a fair bit done, and hopefully I get the rest, or most of the rest, done today. So we fed, sprayed, stripped down to numbers and tied on Friday, which was the equivalent of Wednesday because I was sunning myself in Valencia last week. And this is where we are today. It's just gone 6:15 in the morning, and I'm just getting ready for the day really. The water system is on. I always run a bit of water through the system before I put any feed through anyway, and I always like to spray first, and really this next few weeks it's a weekly spray, one for Fripp, might be one for Capsid, Dynamac that's going in today, which is a Fripp spray. It's the first of any proper sprays. I've only ever used retail sprays generally, but I'm hearing a lot of problem from Fripp and Capsid, so I thought I'd just use the backup store of some proper stuff. So these are the poms. Dave's choice. They need taking down to numbers still, but they're really coming back nice from their stop. And the seedlings, haven't seen anything better than the orange one as yet. But some nice tomatoes. We've got the spray already mixed up, that's in the can. And there's the first feed, which is the Universal 232, or blue as we called it, ready to go. And there's a diluter full, just dissolving there. Really did hit these too hard, not this bed, that seems fine, but I got a bit carried away on the this bed, and so far I've got one plant that just wasn't ever going to make it. In fact, it had died, so I pulled it up. And there's two here. I don't know, they might flower about Christmas, but they might. And it's a bit concerning sometimes, without the virtue of experience, when you look at plants like this and think, I'm going to need buds on these in about 2 weeks' time for the first show. Buds to secure, and you'd be a bit twitchy, but experience says they will. And stay confident, that's all you can. These are budding now, and these are ones that were stopped realistically the first week of June, so that's 6 weeks to there. We're a good couple of weeks too early. These ones, which were stopped probably 2 to 3 weeks later, but they would have had some side shoots already in the plant. I'm going to be far off at all. In fact, they probably should make it. And the ones that we did double stop, so much of these, yeah, don't think we're going to have them for the bank holiday weekend, but they should follow on after, which was the whole point of doing it. I've gone through half of the dying frame, so half of them, which is this half, or this row in this case, has been taken down to numbers, and they've got the first tie on there. It's a bit early for the first tie, but that one is the most important one. As long as they stay within that, they're pointing upwards. It's the narrowest part of the wigwam, and it also means that I know that I've gone through them, I've done that plant, I've taken it down to a number, because it's got its first tie on. And realistically, every tie is where I do a number check and a clean up. So the second tie, when I put that on, is because I'm going through, rechecking those numbers, knocking back any buds, because it'll probably be in about 10 days to 2 weeks time, any buds that are there. And the second tie goes on just before I start securing buds for the shows, and the third tie will go on probably just before, about a week, 10 days before the first show, and that'll be nearer the tops of the canes. And it's just a routine. We all have routines and systems. That's my routine. Again, they've been done, they're to do today. They've been done, they're to do today. And they've been done, and they're to do today. And this is one of the earlier plants of dark Diane. It was always the strongest plant, but it was also one of the earliest. And in there we have a bud. So as we said, we don't want buds or flowers for at least 2 weeks, so I would tend to take that off. 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs down, side shoot, everything else off. We'll do this properly on the video. If you was cautious, which I never am, you might go leave one on that pair there and one down there and take your choice later on, but that'll do. I can do it again. Powerful, nice strong plant, not really worried. The others aren't there yet, and they probably won't be there for at least another week or so. That one's just got one just forming in there. That's not. So it's just constant then, really. I'm not expecting to do much of that, certainly in the next week or 10 days, but after that there'll be a little bit about. There is no point to me timing the cutback so tight that it to produce buds when we want them to, with our climate. I mean, they're budding a bit quicker now because it's been hot. It's still been hot, It was a cooler day yesterday, but not much more. And all you're doing is taking risks. And plants don't mind a knockback as long as it's done at that sort of time, early enough. And they've got a couple of good weeks to come round from that. No problem at all, but no worries about that. But what I won't do is miss the shows. If it suddenly turned cold, I still get buds. If it turns hot, I have to do a bit of knocking back. But a few people fell foul after changing weather in July last year and didn't have much of the bigger stuff for the early shows. I did, and I was showing. The Barberry Surprise, doing alright. I haven't really played around at all with those yet, as are the Blight and Softer Gleam, so hopefully these 3 beds plus what's behind me I'll at least get through those today and get them down to numbers and tied up while they're being watered and fed. Ideally a bit more. This one will probably be the last one to do, which is a later batch of Barberry Surprise. Don't need to get into that yet. And so not sure what's going to come of this. If they're all like that, fine. This is eggy white, but like that, and they're producing buds in a poor stem, I don't think that's going to do much, but we'll see. I didn't think that much of them last year and ended up with Best Giant and Show from the Louis. And again, these are the Louis up here, and they're alright. There's some and some, I think. But they seem to pull through at the end, but whether I shall bother messing about with all 3 or even these varieties, might be time to chop to something a little different. The Mary's bulky. I'm going to work out a way after this week's feed of isolating these N2 beds from the system, so that when I feed everything else they don't get it, because I've always had a bit of problem with size on these, and that's why I grow it about 16 up. And these are going to be about there. And again, there's some buds starting to appear as they tend to. And then we've got the Apricorn Sunset, which is looking nice. And again, I just need to get in there and whip out some of the stems. I'd just like to do it as soon as I can, and then that's the job done. And the plants can grow on with their flowering laterals only. That's good. It's quite cool at the moment. The sun's coming out, which is a good time to spray before the sun's out in full strength. So we'll get that job done. So here's the plant. It's Tracy Diane. I've already put my string on the first tie, and we're going to take this plant back to numbers. Experience will say I can see there's more than 7 shoots. So I'll just take out all of the stuff that's just lurking underneath, and anything that is obviously either damaged, being pestered by a capsid bug or thrip or anything that may have been around. That's one I think I don't like the look of. And I'll get somewhere near to where the 7 is and get rid of all the little shoots and fluff bits that are down the bottom there. And at the same time I do also remove some of the bigger lower leaves that are pretty much at straw level. One is so I can see what I'm doing, see the plant, and 2, quite often down there there's little airflow and you get a bit of mildew can build up, so I tend to remove those. So there's a good start. I reckon I'm not that far away. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 shoots. I tend to remove the front ones a little bit because I don't want those coming out onto the path. And that's the sort of shoot we're removing. So now we're down to 8. So I've got all my Dianes 7 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Better to count twice than end up with not enough. And just to keep the plant open, I'll take that one out of there and that leaf there. And that's about done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shoots that are nice and even. And we'll get a bit of string so we haven't lost it because it was already on the tie. I'll go around just below tip level with this first tie to bring the shoots into the frame, and then tie off. It's a simple granny knot. Part way, and that is done. 7 shoots all around the plant, nice and even. That's good to go.